All right. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting of the Pownal Parks and Rec Committee. So here in person, we have Peter and Brian and Jennifer. And on the phone, we have Brian Harris. Hello, Brian.
Hello.
So to start the meeting, I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I don't think we'll have any
Aye.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
The second item is Peter circulated the meeting minutes for February via email. So everyone had a chance to take a look at them.
Yep.
So I will ask for a motion to approve the February meeting minutes.
Yep. Make a motion to approve them. Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Hi.
Couple delayed responses there.
1/60 of a second.
All right, so on to old business, which is 2022 planning. And some of the items blend and will
Yeah.
cover other topics at the same time, but I'll try to keep it as concise as possible. So the first item is Center Street Park and the Town Green. So as we've discussed previously, we're kind of at a standstill with Center Street Park. We have met, Peter and I met with BCRC to kind of brainstorm some potential grant opportunities for the park. And I also met with the Vermont Department of Health, who was instrumental in some parks in Bennington, I guess. So they have some experience in this. So at this point, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg almost. It's kind of like we need to figure out what residents of Pownal want to see at the park. And then we kind of need to bring in a consulting to deal with the stormwater potentially. I don't know if you've been down to the park, but it's.
Oh, yeah.
It's
What now?
It's Lake Center Street Park now.
Oh, yeah.
There's a water feature there.
We were trying to figure out if we should just embrace that and make it a water feature, or what we should do with that. And then, whatever we want to do there, depending on what input we get from residents, we would need, some planning if it would have to be, ADA compatible or, anything like that. Anything we want to do permanently at the park, we need some planning. So again, we're kind of like in the chicken and the egg here. The municipal planning grant cycle will start again in the September timeframe is when the grant will start. But then the monies aren't available until January of the next year. So we talked about a couple of potential grant opportunities, but they're really focused on, placemaking or hosting an event to get input into the site. So that would be more like the AARP grant and the Better Places grant would be useful for those. So we were kind of chatting and thought that an event where we would be a good opportunity to get feedback might be if there is a town hall grand opening or something like that. We might not need a grant to have an event to, get feedback. So, we've talked about a pavilion down there. We've talked about a play structure. We've talked about, maybe some other things for teens, an obstacle course or, something like that. So I guess I'll just ask if anybody has any feedback, because I think our next step is to solicit input as to what people want to see at the park and then take the next steps after that.
So I got a question. So the flooding, is that from the construction? Is that a result of the construction? Has it been flooded before? Have we had flooding down there before? Or is it just?
No.
Okay.
That's a straight pipe out of somewhere.
Yeah, the new back parking lot of the town hall has a pipe coming out of it
Okay.
and it's draining down into
So it drains down to where we have the shade structure? Is that where it is?
Yes. There's a,
Right
there's
next
a
to it.
large
next to it.
lake
Okay.
in that area right now. So I'm not clear, and I don't know if Megan has any insight on this. I don't believe they're gonna pave the lower parking lot. It's going to be gravel the way it is right now, but are they gonna do any kind of landscaping, do you know, to grade that off or anything?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not sure.
Okay.
If that includes on the parking lot. I
Yeah.
think that's the next discussion on the town hall.
Okay.
Is there an opportunity to go back to that project and say, hey, can you fix this new issue that caused for flooding for us in the park?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're aware of it, because it's really visible.
It certainly was not there before.
I could definitely mention it.
Yeah.
When we talk about town hall on Thursday.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
And,
Good.
you know, it's
Let me write that down.
good thing, bad thing, you know, we don't know. It's, you know, maybe there's an opportunity for us to take advantage of this low spot and sort of move it a little bit and ditch it off into the ditching over there.
Yeah.
So that there's flow. Because we've got that sunshade there and
yeah. I mean,
I
clearly,
would like not to move that.
Right. It would be nice if we didn't have to raise funds to fix the flooding.
yeah, yeah. I just think it was just an unintended,
Oh, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
didn't, whoever did that didn't realize what it was going to create.
Yeah.
You know, in the drawings, you look, there's no pond there.
No, no, no. And the parking lot is actually quite far away from where it is right now in the drawings, because I took them out and looked at them
Right.
last night. So I think there's an opportunity, Brian. We would still need some assistance in like planning the site to make sure like someone with mobility issues or mobility challenges could access anything we put there, you know, easily. That, you know,
We're in good shape in that regard because we've got the tennis court.
Yeah.
That's flat and easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there may have to be little walkway, you know,
Right.
ways
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
go from one place to another.
Yeah.
Because of the grade of the parking lot, there's a, you know, I think we were thinking before the parking lot would be flat with the tennis court, basically. So anyone with mobility issues will have to walk on the road, right, and come down to the park like that. So we may want to consider a couple of parking spots down there. So those are something that a consultant could help us with. So,
But it's,
so,
sorry,
go
but
ahead.
it's kind of a chicken or the egg in the fact that we talked previously about it, getting the grants to have somebody come in and do planning for us, but we have to have somewhat of a plan first.
Right.
Before we have somebody come in, right? So
Yeah.
it's a matter of identifying what we want there, what structures we want there.
Yep.
And then they'll help us place them.
Yes.
Okay.
Appropriately. Yep. Yep.
And somehow we need select board approval to, I'm guessing, doing anything.
Yes, we would want to get the select board's approval and buy-in for anything we want to do at the park. Although I think if we want
Honestly, at the
to,
park, but you know, the intersection of the town hall and the parking in the park.
yeah, yeah.
Because the town hall and the parking lot and all that is, you know, it's creating some problems
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
park.
Yeah,
And we'd like to be able to be compatible
yeah. There,
somehow.
there may be plans that we don't know of, so I don't want to presume.
Yeah. I'm guessing not.
Maybe not. Okay.
So maybe we can make some influence.
Yeah, so I think our priorities are to solicit input. And that can be done a couple of ways, like we could do, like piggyback onto an event, right? And put out some ideas, and as people are at the event, ask them to provide input. We could do like an online survey, like a Survey Monkey survey or something like that. And then I mentioned the municipal planning grant later this year. There's also an opportunity, which is the ARPA monies, which the town is going to develop a process for soliciting the ARPA monies. I know they have something on their website currently, if you have an idea for the ARPA monies, but I think they're going to develop a more formal process.
Okay, good.
And I think for for like town municipal, like Parks and Rec, or maybe some other committees or boards that may have a different process than someone in town, but that might be delineated a little bit further soon. So Brian Harris, I don't know if you have any input on that or not.
He's just,
Or he's on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Yeah.
So, no, I think it's a good idea to try to take care of the drainage issue there. I haven't seen it personally, so I'm not sure what it looks like at the moment.
Okay.
So other
Well,
than
it's-
that, I don't really have anything to
it's-
say about it.
it's,
You can't miss it
Can't
if you
miss
go.
and it's not necessarily a really bad thing,
Right.
but it could be a bad thing
Yeah.
that we have to take care of.
Yeah.
Water flows downhill, and so it's not like that complicated.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then as far as information we need to plan out for to pre-load the planning process, right? So we know we got the drainage issue,
Yep.
right? We know that it's structured, but that seems like the pavilion has been agreed, well, not agreed to, but it's been hot item that seems to be something everybody wants,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And the other major structure we talked about was like I said, the playground,
Right.
which is maybe something that's debatable.
Yeah.
Being that the elementary school has a extensive playground across the street.
Yeah. The elementary school is not open during the day. The playground is not accessible during school hours
Oh, yeah.
because they don't want you as far as I know, they don't want you on the grounds during, potentially commingling with students. And there's no like preschool playground there. There's more of like an elementary, not a preschool. But I think we could ask people for input on the things that have been identified and also ask if there's something that hasn't been thought of,
Yeah.
hasn't been considered.
Yep.
So,
And I'm sure there are those out there. Just love to hear them.
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
So in terms of our timeline, we're here in Vermont, we operate seasonally. The season is, according to yesterday, upon us, coming upon us. What do we want to do with that property this season?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it's one of the items I wanted to talk about because it doesn't look like we're going to be able to keep going on the park this year. We'll be able to get these ideas. Potentially we would have planning monies somehow, maybe with a grant or potentially with the ARPA monies. But then I think we would need to fundraise somehow to get the monies for whatever we want to do, more permanently. But in the interim, there's, certainly could introduce maybe some new activities at the park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the sort of thing I'm
Yeah.
looking at, to spread out the activities at the park.
yep,
Yeah.
The skate park is incredible. Don't get me wrong for that, but we need to accommodate other age groups
yep,
in there as well.
yep.
Yep.
And what is it that will allow us to do that with the money that we don't have
Yeah,
Right.
until July?
yeah. Well, one thing we talked about with the stewards grant monies was maybe picking up some scooters
Right,
with helmets and also a bike rack.
right.
So there's,
But again, that grant is in June, July?
no, it's this month. We already
Oh, is it?
submitted it.
Oh, okay.
So we should know,
Nice.
in the next couple of weeks
Awesome.
when that one.
Kind of like Borac?
But now, we also have to fund the, port potty.
Yes.
So We have, what do we have in the budget right now? Do we know that?
Well, beginning July 1st, we have $5,000.
Yeah.
Right now, we just have a couple $100s in the account until hopefully we get some sort of grant monies.
Right. So,
The porta potty is still there. I don't know.
oh, okay.
I guess we could, maybe Megan, we could ask Megan if she could inquire as to how long it'll remain because it was being before as part of
Construction,
construction.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately today, I had to call because it got knocked over.
Oh,
Yeah, the wind.
Yeah,
no.
the wind.
The wind.
Yeah.
Oh,
Incredible.
Oh,
Never, I've lived here 50 years almost.
Yeah,
and
never seen it like
never seen anything like the wind that we've had this season.
mhm. It was rough.
The trees are
A huge
looking-
section of my tin roof last night.
Yeah.
Looks like we were the only ones that lost power, our little section there for Pownal last night. We lost it in the middle of the night, but
Wow.
it's our little hill there.
thought for sure it was going to be much worse.
No, the rest of the state was, yeah.
Yeah.
The state was, but Pownal was only, Bennington County
Yeah.
was only Pownal, a little spot there.
So Megan, if we could ask you, could you find out about how long that will be there and paid for as part of construction?
Yeah.
And then let us know and we can decide what we want to do, until we bridge the gap to the,
Right, yeah.
The July
July,
funds.
yes,
And the
yeah.
other thing that we need, I think quickly, is at least one trash receptacle.
yes,
Yes.
that one's overflowing.
Oh, well, I'm gonna, one of these days, just gonna
I
turn it
know.
on its side and let it melt and drain, and then I'll
Yeah.
get rid of the stuff.
Yeah.
But until it
Yeah,
thaws,
I
yeah.
wonder if that's another thing
I ain't
that could
touching
be
it.
considered part of town hall. If maybe the select board would approve.
Oh,
Trash can.
that's part of this town hall?
Mhm.
Yeah,
We were looking at like an animal-proof trash can
Okay.
because if people are going to have food
Yeah,
there, it
barbecue
will.
and they will,
Yeah.
yep.
yeah.
And so the ones that I saw, and I know you saw them too, they're a little pricey. They're like $500, $700, the really sturdy ones. But there are some that could probably
work.
do the job for a couple $100s. But now when I see the ones in other areas and I see those, I'm like, wow. It's like a $2,000 trash.
No, they're not pound.
No. So to your point
I thought you
about,
were impressed by trash cans while you're walking around parks, did you?
no, it's even downtown, it's like, woo. So to your point, but I think we can do some other activities there. And it might be an opportunity maybe to host a couple of events there, or asks if someone might be willing to host some youth-centered activities there or something over the summer. But I think we could add that to the agenda, maybe do a little research and then add that to the agenda.
Now, is there a Girl Scout and Boy Scouts? And I've heard mixed bag on that. If there is for,
There's
I don't know.
Girl Scouts, I think, are Bennington,
Okay.
but the troop leader lives in Pownal. And they visit each town, so they've been to the park. But actually, that was who I was thinking of.
Right.
Okay.
I'd be willing to
Yeah.
do some things. I believe there is a Pownal Boy Scout troop. But I will find out.
Noted today with thank you, Carl Villanova, for posting all this stuff for the town hall. Noticed that third week in July, or whatever, the school house is gonna be moved
Oh, okay.
over here now.
Yep.
That's a long ways away. Who knows what's
Yeah.
gonna happen, but that would seem to be a spectator event,
Yeah,
something that we might be able to bring people together
Yeah.
Yeah.
with. Is it too late in the season to ask people what they want at the park? Do we need to do that earlier? We talked about Earth Day.
Yeah. Earth Day would be for the gardens, the kickoff for the gardens. I mean, my thought is July is not too late. It's, later than we might want, as long as we do some footwork a little earlier to make sure we're very concise in asking, what we want. We've done some of the work. We're not just starting
Right.
then, but, yeah. Possible. Okay, so I think we're done with A1, 3A1.
3A1.
So moving to 3A2, the town picnic and Pownal Valley Fair. So Faith Church is going to be taking over the planning for the Pownal Valley Fair. And they're going to maintain the last Saturday in July date. So I know that we talked about potentially marrying the town picnic with the fair. So I wanted to ask if our committee is going to be around that weekend. Because that's a
That's
key piece
prime
of,
time.
yeah, that's a key piece of vacation time. So I wanted to ask. I don't have any plans personally, but
No, sorry.
yeah, I know. So when you go away, don't you go away for a couple of weeks?
Things have been tossed into a bit of a cocktail this year.
Oh, okay.
The house.
That's right. Okay.
So.
All right.
Town picnic, town fair, is it, are they two events or are they one event?
Well, it would be wherever the fair is going to be held. It wouldn't be
Here.
It wouldn't be at the park.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
It'd be wherever they're going to, I think, I don't know for sure, but I think they're still going to use the area behind the firehouse.
Yes.
You know, so it would basically be there. So there's pros and cons to commingling those events.
Right.
Also,
And they've been-
possibly, since that's when the schoolhouse is going to be moved, is at some point
That
in
week.
July, there may be
Yeah.
a ribbon cutting ceremony or something along those
Fine.
lines for town hall.
Okay.
Well, we just make it a big week.
Yeah, there's party all week long.
Cut the ribbon and play
Yeah.
all week long.
Party.
There you go.
Yeah, and we could, we had talked about doing something with food. Always got to bring up food.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that does align though, then maybe it would make more sense to align the town picnic with the ribbon cutting ceremony to bring that together here. I don't know. Depending on how the timing works out.
And how much advance
Yeah, how much
we
notice?
can
Yeah,
get
right, yeah. Yeah.
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
For events, as you know, everybody needs a certain amount of advance notice
Right.
because of vacations or what, you're
Yeah.
going to go on vacation anyway, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
But just some advance notice so that people can plan and say, oh, let's do that instead of
Right,
this.
yeah,
You
yeah,
want to go ahead and ask the select board that on Thursday too?
sure,
Sure.
yeah,
Well, I think if you were to have the town picnic at the grounds, it's not just going to be people at the town that go to the fair. So you're probably going to have a lot more, I don't want to say participation, but you would have, I don't know who it goes to the fair, honestly. Is it just Pownal residents or is it do others come
No,
in?
others come in.
Okay.
for the
Yeah.
fireworks, right?
Yeah,
These-
basically, the fireworks is
Yeah. Yeah,
the
big draw.
real draw.
Yeah. So I know last year's fair wasn't really what the fair used to be, right? Because it's the battle of the bands.
Yeah.
But what does the fair entail and how does the town picnic kind of mesh or not mesh with that? I guess that's something we need to understand over the next maybe couple sessions, couple weeks or three, couple of our sessions, I should say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they would normally bring in vendors for food, right? They would bring in and sell food. It was and then there was some children's activities, like a petting farm. Somebody had like a tractor that drove
Yep,
around.
little train, yep.
Little
I
train.
haven't been in a long time just because that
Yeah.
weekend is something else.
Yep.
Long standing.
And then trying to think what else. So just like, I don't know, say tractor pull maybe or something,
yeah.
Some of those fair type things. I don't know what it's going to look like this year. So I think we have some room to craft.
Yeah, I think it's great. You've got a pretty much a blank canvas.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I know that Faith Church is going to have a sort of like an organizational meeting in the next few weeks about it, so we could participate. Someone could participate, you know, in that and discuss it moving forward. And then, of course, we'd want to get select board buy-in for whatever, and actually ask the select board to help with the picnic. Because I think it's important for them to be a part of that process, be a part of that event. So, okay. The only other thing I would say with that is I was thinking that Parks and Rec, aside from the picnic, could participate in another way, something like a candy bar bingo, or we could do something else if we don't do the picnic. Like, it's not the picnic or nothing, like
Right,
we
yeah.
could do
Yeah, definitely should. plan
some
something for
other
that. Yeah.
activity.
Yeah, for the fair, yeah.
It's been quite a while since we've had a cow plot bingo in Pownal.
Cow plot bingo.
Just a thought.
There we go.
This is Vermont.
I've been to it before. Okay. We talked about ARPA money, so I think we just need to wait. I skipped grant updates. Well, let's see. So we talked about the stewards grant. So we applied for that in January. It's supposed to be announced in March. It doesn't exactly say when. Let's see, the recreational trails letter of interest, we submitted that in late February. We're supposed to hear today about that. I don't think we've
The
heard.
Vorak?
Not Vorak.
Yeah, I get confused.
I know, this was to do some maintenance work on the Hoosic Bend Trail.
Got it. Yep.
So we're waiting to hear on that one. Vorak, every couple of weeks, they send an email and basically say, thank you for your patience. We're still working out the details with Vorak grants.
Yeah.
It's not a no yet on that one. And then today, Megan submitted the Spark grant application for like a community garden, pollinator garden project on the Town Green Town Hall area. So that went in today, and that one is, it said that you would hear back from them in, I think a mid-April timeframe. Yep. All right, let's see if I've missed anything. That's all that I have on my notes. I think I missed anything. I don't have anything under new business. Does anybody
Yeah,
have
it's interesting that we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and so there's not a lot of new business that we can
No.
do because old business is just like sit around and wait.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's difficult in that regard.
yep. Hurry up and wait, right? Brian Harris, did you have anything else to add or any comments? I know you're busy, but. All right. So at this point, we can schedule our next meeting date and time. Let's see. Let's see. So the first Tuesday in April is April 5th, or we could go with the second Tuesday, which is the 12th.
I won't be here on the 12th.
Okay. So if we do the 5th, I believe the planning commission has their meeting at 7, Megan, is that right?
Planning,
Yeah, first Tuesday?
it's the first and third Tuesdays. Yes.
Okay. So we could.
Now, I could, Zoom in or phone in. I'll be out of town, but can do that if that is better.
It's fine. I think, our meetings have been
Yeah.
a half an hour.
We're
So
waiting.
I know. So we could still do 6 o'clock on
Yeah.
April 5th.
Yeah, let's
We
do
just
that.
have to be cognizant that the planning
Yeah.
commission will be here at 7.
Now, here's just a quick thought that has stuff to do with waiting. let's say Vorek comes out next week and said, we're going to give you this amount of money. Who administers this project? Who's the project manager? Who
Yeah.
administers the grant? You know, we talk about stewardship a lot. It's like, okay, what do we do now?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that's something that we got to work out.
Yep.
Because one of these things is going to hit one of these days.
Yeah. Part of the grant application was like for a project manager.
Okay.
So hopefully whatever comes about of that, we'll be able to take advantage of something like that. But yeah, we would definitely need to lean on some town expertise as well.
Yeah.
So if we do get the recreational trails, if we're chosen to submit the full application, that's due in April. So I will reach out so that we can start working on that before
And I'm
the
happy
next
to-
meeting.
Happy to help.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was the same grant that was used to establish the Hoosic Bend Trail. So I was thinking I could ask Ray Rodriguez if he has the original grant application for that, because that might be useful
Sure.
for that. So I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, the other thing that we talked about maybe for the next meeting is that if we don't get that VORC grant, we talked about continuing to explore what are our possibilities for
Yep,
that area.
the alternatives.
Yeah. So maybe that's a topic for next meeting. If we
Okay.
hear about the grant by then.
Wow, I hope so. It's going on 6 months.
I know.
Long time. Okay, Megan, is there anyone for public comment?
There's no one in here.
No one in here. Okay. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Yep.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.